The man pulled off the girl's stockings, picked up a rock about the size of an egg, stuffed it into the stocking, shoved it into the woman's mouth, tied the stocking tightly around her neck, and then brutally assaulted her. Throughout the whole attack, the girl kept her eyes shut tight and refused to look at the man's face, because she knew that was probably her only chance of staying alive. That strong survival instinct is what made her the only survivor in this serial rape murder case. Even though she never got a clear look at the killer, she clearly remembered one thing. His hands were very thin, almost like a woman's. But with just that one clue, the police had nowhere to start. What happened to her was exactly the same as several recent cases. The previous victims had underwear pulled over their heads before they were assaulted, and in the end, the killer strangled them to death with stockings. And every time he struck, he left behind almost nothing. The only footprint ever found at a scene was run over by a tractor tire, destroying the evidence. After one setback after another, Detective Jack was cracking under the pressure, so he went to see his old flame to blow off some steam. But during their conversation, he unexpectedly learned that one of the recent victims, Anna, had been followed the night before her murder by a mentally disabled man named Mike. So his old flame started to suspect Mike. But even though Mike was nearly 30, he had the mind of a 7- or 8-year-old child. After Jack brought him into the station, he started threatening him with a ruler, trying to force a confession, but the interrogation got them nowhere. Facing someone like Mike, Jack was out of options, so he immediately brought in a coworker and got violent with him. Even then, Mike still refused to admit he killed anyone. Desperate to crack the case, Jack took Mike's shoes to the crime scene, pressed a footprint into the ground, photographed it, and turned it into evidence. After the photo was developed, Jack used it to threaten Mike again, trying to force him to confess. But while Jack was using every trick he had to pressure Mike, Captain Tom noticed something. In every rape murder case, the victims' hands had been tied behind their backs with extremely neat bows. Mike was mentally disabled, and his hands were badly burned, so there was no way he could have tied knots that clean. And since Mike still refused to confess, Jack had no choice in the end but to let him go. Just when the police were getting nowhere, another woman was raped and murdered, then dumped in a reed field. And as bad luck would have it, this victim was Jack's old flame, Lucy. Lucy was killed the same way as the previous women. She had been strangled with stockings,